I'm Meryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Here's your April 2024 What is Happening and Why Astrology. And it's a big month with a lot of noise and slippy foundations. We've been waiting for the epic hookup between Jupiter and Uranus in Taurus, and it's preceded by an eclipse in Aries on the 9th. This is a mood that creates shockwaves, about turns, and new values. Heroes can fall, morality is questioned, but it's also a time when the impossible can become possible. Collectively and personally, we're in the crosshairs of our very own hero's journey. Who's on for the ride? We'll start with a quick planetary overview of the transits for the month, and then we'll get into the gory details. I'll wrap it up at the end so you can put the dates in your diary. If you want horoscopes on your individual signs, check out my Astrology Dice readings put out at the beginning of each month. And if you can, a like, follow, share and subscribe really helps my channel. Thank you. So starting off, here's an overview for the month of April 2024. Oh, I missed out Neptune. Neptune's in Pisces. There's been no retrogrades for a couple of months, so progress has been feeding through a slipstream. But by April Fool's Day, Mercury is stalled and turns retrograde in Aries. It stays retrograde until the 26th, and it encapsulates some significant planetary action in that phase. When a planet goes retrograde, it distorts and disturbs the natural energy. In Mercury's case, it's messages, communication, links and connections that get tangled. Travel plans and transport systems can hit delays. There can be strikes and stoppages, confusion, double meanings and retrospection. The usual advice is to back up your computer, double check your details, and have patience when plans go off kilter. But Mercury retrograde is also a good time to do investigation and research, to go through old paperwork and memories, go through your old ideas and your attitudes to discover hidden gold. Mercury retrograde can uncover what was overlooked and put missing pieces in place. It can give you a new perspective. Retrogrades are more about reflection than projection, processing rather than action, and deliberation rather than decision. And this lays the bedrock for the month. Well, it's more of a mercurial quicksand than a solid foundation, so you'll have to watch your step or what's slipping through your fingers. There may be unexpected detours that you take into a journey of the soul, through the pain of the past, revisiting the disjointed parts of life. April is also guaranteed to be a month that rattles all the expectations of what is normal protocol, customs and beliefs. Something new is emerging. It's original and unstoppable. And that makes me think of things like AI, crypto, the end of democracy, the end of neoliberalism. What are we choosing? Once we slide into that second week of April, we've entered eclipse season. On the 6th, the Sun crosses over the North Node in Aries, activating some early rumbles of what is to come, like a warm-up or an instinctive prickle. People that you come across on this day or situations that you find yourself in could have a strange or twisted bent that points to a new direction ready to open up. Early on the 9th or the 8th of April if you're in US or Europe, the Moon catches up with the Sun and the North Node, and this means eclipse, 19 degrees Aries. The sun will be blotted out by the moon's shadow for an eerie few minutes. A shadow descends and turns what we thought as forever into an alternate reality. The eclipse is visible over Mexico, central US and eastern Canada. And these places have the finger of fate pointing at them. Texas is in a hot spot. Eclipses portend change and represent a power of what is hidden and concealed to come forward into daylight. In mythology, it's a symbol of a dragon's head disgorging the fate and karma that it's created as the sun is gobbled up by the earth's shadow. Because it's in Aries, the impact can come through as a flashpoint. It's hot, it's fiery, infectious and dangerous. Aries is the sign that charges ahead bravely, regardless of the risk. It's autonomous, independent, heroic and pioneering. And with Mars as its ruler, it also means war, brute force and focused attack. Heroes can emerge or fall. Dragons are slain. On the world stage, this eclipse has a subtext of weapons, accidents, egotism and fateful decisions unravelling to a kind of crescendo. There could be a turning point in the Israel-Palestine conflict or a breakthrough in Ukraine. In other places, uprisings, retaliation and authoritarian shutdowns could flare up. On a personal level, it's the cardinal signs, Libra, Aries, Cancer and Capricorn, who get the fireworks with this one. It's a balance between assertion and aggression, getting self-control with irritations and being ready to take on a brave and courageous step into the unknown. In tarot, it's the Fool, the Emperor and the Wheel of Fortune. Which way are you going to spin? Towards brand new beginnings or back into the old traditions and stifled expression? If there is a conflict over the new moon phase, it's likely to cut deep. Chiron is right in the middle of the eclipse at 18 degrees Aries. And retrograde Mercury is not far off at 24 degrees, gathering information from the shadows to be revealed. There may be a war of words, of memory, of history, belief and ideology, and underneath it, some bizarre and infuriating paradox that won't go away. Chiron delves deeply into the wounds of abandonment, separation and rejection, wounds that may have lasted generations. He's also very skilled in the art of warfare. It was one of his own weapons that gave him a permanent disability. Nevertheless, Chiron is a compassionate god in regard to the many flaws of human beings and literally embodies duality, the integration of opposites, a bridge between realities, the elevation of culture and beliefs to embrace difference as a unique expression of the whole. Are we up for the challenge? Chiron on the eclipse reveals where the moral compass stands. It also means nothing can be taken at face value. Truth is somewhere in the grey area. This is big stuff, and a strong Chiron transit can transmute your suffering and victimhood into growth, wisdom and experience, basically to mature. So this eclipse is asking the question, are we ever going to grow up? Will we continue using warfare and competition for survival rather than diversity and collaboration? This eclipse can really bring a boiling point, close a door, or turn a situation 180 degrees. So it's what steps out of the shadows in the second part of April that really catches our attention. First, Mars, the ruler of Aries, joins in with Saturn and Pisces and immediately activate a protective response or a level of accountability. Mars on Saturn can be harsh, restrictive and punishing, but in water sign Pisces, the boundaries have a bit more flex and are more likely to accommodate and show concern rather than threat. Mars can protect the vulnerable here. It can provide aid and support. It's the hero we've been waiting for, and Saturn is willing to bend and adapt to a call for help. This means if you're at a tipping point, reach out, there's backup available. And while Mercury is retrograde, it's easier to get a reasonable negotiation in your favour. The next one is a big one. Jupiter and Uranus meet up in Taurus, and it's one of the most clashy hookups of the year. Both Jupiter and Uranus are next-level boasty and dogmatic powerhouses with a desire to make a big impact. They can make a small innovation go viral, explode beliefs, and launch big dreams and plans. Culture can shift, opinions can sway. On the relatively rare occasions that they come together, they initiate a new cycle and a leap of innovation, growth, or massive expansion. In Taurus, we're looking at new cycles in the economy, in production, work, territory, and ownership. If you have a planet or an angle at 21 degrees, you're implicated in this wake-up call. It's the sort of thing that can literally make the ground move. It's a combination of controversial brilliance, luck, and eye-popping awareness. You might join a group or start new study. You might relocate or land a windfall. The energy is surging, electrical upheaval, and on the heels of the eclipse, it looks like what's been stuck gets unstuck really quickly. It ties in with Chiron, insisting on bringing a paradox into full view and shifting that low vibration of victimhood and outrage to search for deeper meaning and a broader perspective. On April 24th, the full moon at 4 degrees Scorpio has another go at purging the past and putting light into the shadows. Scorpio doesn't stop until it's stripped back to the kernel of truth that might be inconvenient, uncomfortable, and raw. The full moon bookends stage 1 of what the eclipse has cracked open. Ambition, passion, desire, human failings, moral questions, and what serves our higher interest rather than the base emotions of survival. Mercury slowed right down and is about to turn direct on the 26th. It's the last chance to run back into the burning building and save the baby. That's if you can embrace your hero's journey. And we're not done with Mars. At the end of the month, on the 29th, Mars reaches the foggy bubble of Neptune. This is a really difficult transit that confuses direction, dissolves the boundaries, and leaves vulnerabilities open. We've had all month to develop inner strength, challenge our beliefs, and test morality. Now the illusion is about to burst. Mercury's moving forward, and the quicksand underfoot is hardening to concrete form. Some support and structures won't hold under this transit of Mars and Neptune. And what's left unresolved might play out with the next eclipse season 6 months from now. With these two right at the end of April, you might feel let down or deflated, and true motives can be revealed and be a bit upsetting to you. Mars and Neptune can be manipulative, spreading an insidious poison and delusion, or it can rip off the mask in a brutal expose. In the aftermath of the Aries Chiron-flavoured eclipse, there's enough power to transmute poison to light. If you've been bitten by a snake enough times, you're immune to the venom, and the hero's journey involves growing through pain and suffering to actualize the self in authentic form. The world is in the midst of a paradigm shift, and this eclipse aims to reveal where the collective path got too extreme. Chiron can integrate the pieces of extremes into a unique alternative if acceptance is part of the process. Right now, our collective soul path is being dragged towards self-empowerment and authenticity rather than acquisition and competition. So to wrap this up, the truth is what you make of it. Mercury's retrograde in Aries until the 26th, so double check all your details and don't be swayed into rushing or signing off. If something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Especially have your guard up at the end of the month when Mars reaches Neptune and really floods the boundaries. The Aries eclipse, with the new moon on the 9th, has you asking where you stand, what do you believe, and where your moral compass is at. Chiron in the midst challenges the normal expectations and shows where extremes and paradox can be bridged into a third space. This is a major turning point, and wounds of rejection can be transmuted on a soul level, initiating a journey of learning and self-discovery. Post-eclipse, and that second and third week of April has a radical twist, an eruption, a stroke of brilliance, or retaliation. Jupiter conjunct Uranus is a big, loud energy, stepping into the room and flipping the tables. Nothing is set in stone. If you have any planets or angles between 18 and 23 degrees in your chart, then you're more likely to be directly involved in this planetary master plan, and life will take on a new focus over the next 6 to 12 months. The full moon in Scorpio on the 24th has a purging effect. The emotional layers come off, and a dose of reality is hard to ignore. Go with it. Grow new skin. Shed what's poisonous or toxic, so it can't have power over you anymore. The call to action with this eclipse challenges what is normal and always meant to be with what is new, adventurous, and ready to open up into a new world. Where do you stand? I'm Meryl Key, and this is my mystery school. Find me on Instagram at my_mystery school or on my website www.merylkey.com. Thanks for watching.